It's time now for Countywide, a special presentation of Yavapai Broadcasting News. Join Paul David and Jen Cohen as they talk with our community's leaders, newsmakers, and people in the know. You'll hear about the hot topics that affect all our lives in Yavapai County. And now, here's today's Countywide.
Welcome to Countywide. I'm Paul David. As always, it's great to have you in studio with us today. We're going to be talking about the quarter-cent jail district sales tax today. We've got Yavapai County Supervisor Tom Thurman in studio. Welcome back.
Thank you.
And Captain Jeff Newnum from the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office. He is the jail commander. Welcome back, Jeff.
Thank you.
I think every time you come back, we have you here for a little something different.
Right.
We can break it up with Jeff. Okay, so today is the first show we're going to do. We'll do one probably in a couple months as well, talking about this, just to give you updates and information about the quarter-cent jail district sales tax, which is a mouthful to say, but it's been in place now since 1999. And it's due to expire in 2020, which is just a couple years away. And so we started hearing about this a couple months ago, that we want to renew that and get it renewed, and voters are going to be going to the polls this year to vote whether or not to extend this quarter-cent jail district sales tax. And I think before we even get started, I want to make mention that this is not a new tax. This is a tax that's been with us, again, since 1999, when I think it was 70% of voters voted in favor of it back then to run the jail system, or at least
That's correct.
Put money into the jail system. So where do we want to start with this?
Well, I can tell you, as far as one of the bean counters for the county, our criminal justice system right now is about 50% of the money that we have available to spend. And to run that system, and we're mandated to do that, is part of that is the jail. Now, prior to 2000, the municipalities, and there's 9 municipalities in Yavapai County, they had to, every time we arrested somebody and booked them for a misdemeanor, they had to pay for that. And as we know today, a lot of the municipalities, they're barely getting by. You look at some of the smaller ones, it's tough. And so that was the push back in 99 and 2000 to get this thing passed. So we create the district, and the district is just like any other district. You got water improvement districts, you got domestic wastewater improvement districts, lighting districts, there are all kinds of want that. Things change in life. So they did it for 20 years, and rightfully so. We depend on that. The municipalities depend on that, so they don't have to pay that amount of money for all that booking. As we see in the municipalities today, is the roads are always needing work, and we can see that supposedly we were going to get infrastructure done by the federal government, and that didn't seem to happen yet. The state legislature, they're always having to fund schools and everything else. They sweep a lot of the road taxes. So we're being impacted left and right. But the criminal justice system, you go back to the Constitution, that's one of the things, health and safety is part of the Constitution, and we're mandated by state law to do this, from the arrest all the way to probation. And so I don't like taxes more than anybody else, and I have to allude to, twice before we talked about building a new jail on the Prescott side, because 2/3 of the crime is being committed over there. However, it is crashed and burned twice. I understand the Verde, we already have our jail here, but on the flip side, this is not for that. Not one dime of this is going to go to build a new jail on the Prescott side. This is specific just to run the jail system. And we're having to transport a lot of inmates back and forth, or detainees, back and forth at the cost of over $1 million a year now. And we're doing everything we can to keep the existing jail costs down. And Jeff can allude to some of the ways we've been doing that. A lot of folks think that we have, 20–30% of the people are in there are pot smokers. Why don't you just let them out? That is not true. At any given time, we have about 5% of people in the jail that actually are misdemeanors.
Misdemeanor criminals.
95% are felons. Now, we know that today the drugs are tough. I mean, they're everywhere. And I don't, you can move to another community and think you're going to have less drugs available, but they're everywhere today, right, all across the United States, all across the world. And so we have a lot of diversion programs that we're trying to help these folks that get arrested. Yeah, they stole the car, or they stole mom's wedding ring or something for their drug habit. And Jeff, he can allude to some of the programs that we're doing to try to keep the jail population down and keep the cost down.
Right.
And so we're doing everything we can. We do video now for the courts. We do early disposition court.
Cuts down the transportation costs.
That helps a lot. We built, a few years back, Chip and I agreed to build a new courthouse next to the jail in Camp Verde, and so we're doing everything we can to keep the costs down, to keep the transportation down, but our county's growing. It's not stopping. And unfortunately, things cost more money, and federal regulations now are what Jeff could have done. And Jeff runs the jail. He's the head guy over at the jail. And what we could have done 20 or 30 years ago, we can't do today.
Right.
They have certain rights, and so you get arrested if you're pregnant. We may be paying for and I say we, as in the taxpayer, are paying for people that come in with tuberculosis, or they're pregnant and we have their baby while they're in our jail. And these are things that we're mandated to do. And so the cost is not cheap today, as you can imagine. And so all we're asking is to get this existing jail tax to continue for, again, another 20 years, not permanent, just another 20 years, nothing for a new jail. What are some of the programs that we are doing for diversion, trying to keep costs down?
Well, what I like to illustrate to folks is right now, statewide, if you took all the jails in the state and you took all the inmates that are released in the state, that's about 210,000 inmates a year that are released back into our communities. Statewide, the recidivism rate is about 38%. That means they come back. 38% come back to our jails. Well, in Yavapai County, because our population of the jail is constantly at capacity or more, we've partnered, Sheriff Mashard, Chief Rhodes, myself, we've partnered with Sheila Polk, the county attorney, John Napper, who used to be the public defender, now it's Kennedy Clagy, the judges, the courts. We're trying to brainstorm how can we combat this recidivism rate. So we have things like our mental health coalition, and we've looked at areas that how can we target the population of our inmates and see those that maybe they come in on a misdemeanor or a low level felony. How can we get those folks into the treatment that they need to keep them from coming back and committing that next crime? So we have things like the pre-arrest and post-arrest diversion programs. What we currently are doing is we're reaching out into the community. So we have a program called Reach Out 24/7. So what that means is we have people that every time someone comes into our facility, and that's about 9,200 intakes a year right now, they are screened for either a substance abuse problem, a mental health issue, or a co-occurring disorder. And if we can identify what that disorder is, then we immediately start making phone calls to Spectrum Healthcare, to Southwest Behavioral, to West Yavapai Guidance Clinic, U.S. Vets, anybody that we might be able to link them to care on the outside to help them start building a foundation to be successful, not re-enter the destructive lifestyle that they were in that brought them to the jail in the first place. And for those that are participating in that program, we've reduced the recidivism rate in 2016 to 19%.
Oh, from 38?
From 38% to 19% for those that are participating currently. And currently this year we're at about 26%. But for those that choose to participate and are committing crimes that we can get them back out into society with this linkage to care, we are keeping a lot of those folks from coming back. So that reduces the amount of bed space that we have to utilize for people on the floor. Like today, for instance, we have 230,000 residents in Yavapai County approximately right now, according to the U.S. Census. We have a 644-bed facility for 230,000 residents. But operationally, that means that 515 of those beds are available for me to use because I have to worry about classification. I can't mix female inmates with male inmates. I can't mix sex offenders with general population. I can't mix your violent gang members with general population. So that means that 20% of my bed space has to remain open so I can move folks around. If I have 130 bed female unit and I only have 120 females, I can't put 10 males in with those females.
Sure.
So that means 515 beds are there for me to exist operationally. Well, today, in January, which I'm supposed to be at about 400 inmates, I'm at 514 inmates.
Wow.
You know, I have 34 people on the floor today in the wintertime. In the summertime, we're hitting 650 inmates in the summertime, which is way past our ability to operate. But we have all of those folks on the floor, so we have to look at ways to reduce the recidivism, reduce the inmate population any way that we can. And so that's where these programs are coming into play. And not only our post-arrest and pre-arrest diversion programs, but even, I'll give you an example here in the Verde Valley.
Can we take a break? We have to take a break. We got to take a break real quick. Yavapai County Sheriff's Office Jail Commander Captain Jeff Newnum in studio today. Yavapai County Supervisor Tom Thurman in studio. We're talking about the quarter-cent jail district sales tax and extension of that tax. Vote coming up this spring on that. More information, you can go to yavapaijail.com. You can also go to Yavapai County's website, yavapai.us, and find it right there in the front of the page. Stick around. Countywide back in just a couple minutes.
Listen to me. I am captain of the track team. And if I'm late,
She doesn't really think she's going to get out of here, does she?
Be nice, she's new.
Hello, is anyone there? Ugh!
Wow. Even from our standards, you look awful.
Oh, sweetie, what happened?
Me? My friend Becky got to talk to this super cute boy, and I tried to act like I wasn't jealous, but I so totally was. And then out of nowhere, this concrete barrier just popped up. Maybe it was a semi.
You mean you were driving?
Yeah. I mean, I know the whole eyes on the road thing, but this was a super important text. Maybe you have to know, Becky.
Texting? Great.
But it was only like 5 seconds, and I'm a really, really fast texter, so it wasn't even a big deal. Actually, has she texted me back yet? Wow, I get like no bars in this place. I wonder if they have Wi-Fi here.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
Mateo. I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars.
Ed Sheeran. What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. He'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
Welcome to Countywide. We're sitting down with Jeff Newnum with the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office. He is the jail commander, also a captain there, and then Supervisor Tom Thurman in studio. We're talking about the quarter-cent jail district sales tax, which that vote was pushed back now until May, I want to say May 15th, is that right?
15th.
May 15th. So
13th.
It's going to be in May, and ballots will be, it's a mail ballot election, so ballots will be going out in the mail in April, but we're going to be doing a few shows and doing some stories and stuff for you to give you more information about this. It was voted on by voters in 1999, and it's coming up for a revote in, well, it's going to be renewed in 2020. It ends in 2020.
And it's a mail-in only ballot.
A mail-in ballot, yeah, mail-in only ballot. So that's going to be coming in the mail. So you could sit down, go through all the information. If you want more information about what we're talking about today, it's real easy to find. You can go to yavapaijail.com or you can go to yavapai.us, the county website. There's a blue tab across the middle of the screen that's all about the quarter-cent jail district sales tax. So get yourself informed. But it's a tax that we've been paying now for almost 20 years.
Right.
Isn't that amazing? Almost 20 years. Okay, so let's go back to the jail itself. We were going to talk a little bit about what Spectrum's been doing to help out with the jail and the population at the jail and to keep the recidivism down. How much does it cost to run the Yavapai County jail system?
So my budget for my division is $18.1 million to run our existing jail operations. That includes medical, transportation, everything that it runs. And the jail district tax brings in $8.8 million currently. And it depends, it kind of fluctuates each year depending on how much sales tax is brought in. But it only funds half of our current operation. So this is not for a new jail. This is just to continue on with what we have today. And so that's pretty important. But I always throw out numbers like, you know, people don't realize we serve over 50,000 meals a month in our jail. That costs 87 cents right now per meal. We dispense 2,000 pills per day out of our pharmacy because at any one given point, 47 to 53% of our jail population is suffering from some sort of mental health disorder. You know, so that's huge. It is a big operation. $3 million out of our budget is just for our medical costs.
You got security, you got courts, you got laundry.
Everything
that a normal household would have.
That's correct.
You've got it in there.
Programs. Our inmate copay system. So every time a phone call is made or a video visit or commissary is bought, all of that money that's brought in, well over $200,000 a year, goes right back in to offset some of our costs in inmate programs such as GED programs, special education, Alcoholics Anonymous, Narcotics Anonymous, anything like that we can do for the inmates to help make them successful. We fund positions such as teachers, you know, and our inmate services coordinators. So we do offset a lot of those costs by some of these programs. And, you know, we talk about getting inmates back into the communities. A lot of the grants that we receive through the Arizona Community Foundation allows us to provide bed space, such as Angie's house here in Cottonwood, or transportation to people who need it. So we
get their GED.
Get their GED.
Yeah.
You know, so it's huge. We at Voc Rehab, we've had people leave our custody and go right into Voc Rehab, and now very close to getting their college degree.
You don't want them back.
We do not want them.
We want them.
You don't want to see me more than once, right, Jeff?
I want them to pay sales tax and property tax.
Right.
You know, I want more. I want that funding to come in, and so maybe we can. You know, there was a study done in Phoenix, and that Yavapai County was rated the #1 county in Arizona for fiscal policies and for policies, and we're very proud of that. We've done our hardest job, as you can imagine, as a county supervisor, is to keep taxes as low as possible. And we are in the bottom third in this state as far as the property tax goes. I don't want to have to raise property tax because this doesn't pass. We got enough out-of-towners that can help pay for that. At any given time, our jail's got about 20 to 25% of the folks are from out of the Yavapai County. And sales taxes, depending on which community it is, you can imagine Sedona, is about 50% are from out-of-towners. But at the county as a whole, it's around 14 to 17% comes in from out of this county. And so, you know, that almost mirrors exactly what we have in the jail. So it just makes sense to do it this way. And being we're already paying, and I know I hate taxes, but on the flip side is we've got to fund these things. They're not free. And if you've ever been a victim to a crime, you feel really... you
want a place to put them.
You really got to have a place to put them.
You want a place to put them. We've got to take another break already. When we come back, I want to ask you what happens if this doesn't pass. We should probably talk about that a little bit too, okay? All right, so we're talking about the quarter-cent jail district sales tax, the extension of that tax here on Countywide today. Stick around. We'll be back in just a couple minutes.
This is Bruce Morrow, Transportation Manager for Cottonwood Area Transit. Remember, we cover the entire Verde Valley and Sedona. Cottonwood Area Transit has you covered wherever you want to ride in the Verde Valley, all day, every day. Take Cottonwood Area Transit through Clarkdale, Verde Village, and from 26 locations in Cottonwood. With Verde Links, it's a quick and easy trip to Sedona every day. Don't forget our connectors to Camp Verde. Visit cottonwoodaz.gov for Cottonwood Area Transit and take a seat. Let's go ride.
The Q102.9 plays all the hits.
Yo, what's going on? This is Drizzy Drake.
Ariana Grande.
Maroon 5.
This is Rihanna.
I'm Shawn Mendes.
Hey, it's Bruno Mars. Ed Sheeran.
What's up, guys? It's Justin Bieber.
You're listening to The Weeknd.
Start your day with Brian James in the morning. You'll get at least 10 songs in a row during your ride home with Julie Page.
Zach Sang Show.
Catch the Zach Sang Show weeknights 7 to midnight. And Kelly Fox weekends on your home for hit music. The Q102.9 and 104.9 in Prescott and Cottonwood.
There are people who struggle with addiction and homelessness. Sometimes it may feel like there is nothing we can do to help.
But there is. You can make a tax-deductible donation and help those in need transition away from homelessness.
When you give someone a handout, you could actually be supporting an addiction.
A better life starts with better health, especially for those living in the streets.
Support solutions, not addictions. You can make a difference. Visit cottonwoodcares.com.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. You know, but it's always the same basket, and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, you know, she's putting them in the same basket. Again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to Countywide. We've got just a few minutes left of the program. I want to ask Supervisor Thurman, okay, now if for some reason voters say no to the extension of the quarter-cent jail district sales tax in May now, it was pushed back a little bit in May. What does that mean for the municipalities and for the taxpayers? What can it mean?
Well, by law right now, we have what I call as a levy. And the state legislature allows us to go up to our maximum levy. And our levy right now is $10 million more than what we charge people on property taxes. We're that far below the levy. If this happens, we'll probably end up having to go and raise that other $9 million by raising the levy. Then everybody's going to suffer. Businesses and homes are going to have to pay that extra property tax. And the municipalities are going to have to start paying for their booking. And so it's a losing scenario for everybody. And so I'm sure hope if people don't understand that, they do get on the website and look at it, because we really need this. We can talk about building a jail in the years to come, but not right now. We need to get this, and we plan 2 years ahead. And this sunsets in the summer of 2020. And so here we are. I can't believe it. It's 2018 now. It's only 2 years. So a lot of people go, well, why are you doing it so early? Why don't you do it in 2020? It's too late. We have to plan way ahead.
Just in case it doesn't pass,
That's exactly right.
Yeah. Programs could be cut, I guess, as well. I mean, there's always.
Oh yeah, you can always cut flood district programs. You can cut libraries money. You can. I mean, there's all kinds of places, pots of money we can take from. But they're barely making it now, and like I said, with the PSPRS debacle that's hitting most of the municipalities and the county for the public safety retirement system, it's just we're squeezed to the limit, and to add this cost to it, it's just.
I feel like we got pretty squeezed during the recession too, because I remember doing a lot of stories with Yavapai County, especially about how, I mean, even the little sticky notes, the little sticky pads, those were going away, and there was all kinds of cuts going on at that point in time.
And the state was doing a lot of sweeping.
Freezes, yeah.
You know, they call it sweeps. I call it stealing our money, but the sweeps, and still today, even though things are better, there's still a lot of sweeping going on. To be honest with you, it's just cost of doing businesses. I can't live as cheap as I used to 10 years ago either.
No, neither can a jail with the inmates that are there too. They've got their rights and
they're innocent until proven guilty, and some are. So you know. So
I was kind of looking for the information that I have here in the notes as to exactly when that election is taking place, but it's going to be in May. And like I said, we are going to have other shows about this coming up, and we'll be doing more stories about it as well, because the county is really trying hard. We pushed the election back. It was going to be in March, right? But then there was a clerical error, and so now it's going to be not until
I think it was, and I'm spacing it, but I think it was March 13th is when we were going to have this one. And then there was some clerical error that we didn't know. And we could have probably went ahead with the March election, but just for safety's sake, we decided to go ahead and bump it back those 2 months. Gives us a little bit more time for people to Q&A us, and so now we're doing it in May.
One thing I did want to bring up before we say goodbye on the show is that Dave McAtee put out a little something on the website as well, that if any group or organization wants to have somebody come in, say Supervisor Thurman, Jeff Newnum can come in, schedule an organization, a meeting to have somebody sit down and talk with the group. You can do that by going to yavapaijail.com. You can go to yavapaijail.com, or you can call Dave McAtee. He is the county spokesman. Great guy. 928-442-5509. That number again is 442-5509. They'll set something up where somebody come in and sit down and talk. I think Supervisor Smith is actually doing a coffee chat this morning in Prescott Valley. So there's a lot of this going to be going on.
Right now we have 60 different venues that we're talking to people.
Okay, all right. So and you'll do more. So Supervisor Thurman, it's very good to see you as always. Jeff,
thanks, Paul.
Thanks for coming in. It's always great to see you guys. All right, that's today's Countywide. Thank you so much for watching and listening, and we'll talk to you again next time.